Mrs. Gravich said that Gacy wanted to move up in the Democratic organization from precinct captain, but feared that his arrest in Iowa for prostitution would hold him back. She knew how important his local political involvement was to him. She felt that he had often used it to buy his way out of trouble. She knew of his Northbrook arrest in 1972, but she thought it was a case of mistaken identity. She also was aware of an incident involving a young man, Jack Pistler, who had gone on a trip to Florida with Gacy. Back in Chicago, Pistler had come over to the house and beaten Gacy, saying that he had been raped by him in Florida. She had heard that Gacy's employee, Charles Itullo, had been found dead in a river. She remembered that his relatives had asked for his last paycheck. She didn't know any details of Bukovich's disappearance, just that John had said the police told him the youth had run away. That was about 3 years ago. Kathy Hull Gravich had contributed more to our knowledge of Gacy than we had expected. After more than 4 hours of interview, Beto apologized to Gravich for keeping his wife so long, and the couple left the station. Schultz and Robinson were almost glad to see Gacy come out of his cousin's house at 11 p.m. 3 hours of electronic football were enough. Without announcement this time, Gacy jumped into his car and drove off. After a brisk chase through the streets of Chicago's northwest side, Gacy stopped, parked, and entered the Good Luck Lounge. Robinson parked across the street, and Schultz in a nearby vacant lot. The neighborhood was lower middle class, bordering on light industrial. Several minutes after Gacy went in, a number of patrons came out, some pointing at the officers and making catcalls at them, while others stared sullenly. Just before midnight, Gacy came out abruptly and got into his car. He made a quick U-turn, then sped toward downtown Chicago. For a while, Gacy led the officers on an aimless journey. Then he headed north on Pulaski Road at a fast clip. At one point, Pulaski ducks diagonally under a railroad viaduct in a 10-mile-an-hour S-curve. Going into the reverse S, Schultz lost control of his car and slid into the oncoming southbound lanes. Accelerating, he straightened out, but in the wrong lane. Now at the top of the S, he was approaching a blind curve. Just as he was banking into a power slide to the right, he saw the lights of an oncoming car. The other vehicle lurched wildly and went bumping off to Schultz's left, onto the sidewalk and up the embankment. As the car swerved past him, Schultz saw that it bore a familiar slogan, "We serve and protect, Chicago Police." Looking in his mirror, he saw the car come to rest. It did not pursue him.